What if I told you that time, the universal thread that binds us all, might be an illusion? Well, not in the way we perceive it, at least. We often find ourselves obsessing over it, counting the seconds, chasing the hours, or fearing its inevitable end. Yet, have you ever paused and considered how time crawls in moments of monotony, but vanishes in the midst of meaning? Why? Today, I invite you to unravel the paradox of time, not as a relentless ticking of a clock, but rather as a profound interplay of our attention and experiences. From a scientific lens, time is often regarded as constant, an unyielding force marching ever forward. Now, while this perspective is true for most of our daily lives, science tells us that time is much more complex. Albert Einstein's theory of special relativity tells us that time can warp, stretch, or even contract under the influence of speed and gravity. But for today, we are focusing on how we perceive time in our daily lives. So, here's the paradox. Time feels infinite when you waste it, yet breathtakingly fleeting when it matters the most. Why? Think of an hour spent scrolling endlessly through your phone. You may have barely noticed the time passing, only to later realize that you spent far more of it than you intended. Now, think of an hour spent laughing with friends or working on something you truly love. Gone in a matter of seconds. Why? Because time isn't just about the passing of the minutes. Rather, it is about where your attention is. When you are fully present, time doesn't just pass, it expands. The moments become more richer, more vivid, and more alive. Allow me to share a moment that truly changed my perspective. A few months ago, during an exceptionally taxing week, I laced up my shoes and stepped outside, not for fitness, but rather to escape the storm from within. As I walked, the setting sun painted the horizon in rich hues of amber, wrapping the world in its golden embrace. The sky transformed into a canvas of orange and red. The light flickering like liquid gold across the landscape. With every single breath, I felt lighter. Almost as if the weight of the day was slowly lifting. I stopped, not because I was tired, but because in that very moment, the world seemed to stand still. It was almost as if time itself had softened, urging me to simply exist. That moment only lasted a few seconds, but it taught me an invaluable truth. Presence isn't a passive state, rather, it is an active choice. And that is the power of attention. Now, this brings me to the heart of today's theme, unlocking the power of the fifth letter E. At first, when I considered what the fifth letter E represents, I was left pondering, what could it be? But as I reflected, I realized it was nothing more than experience. Experience is the heartbeat of time, infusing it with meaning and depth. Experience isn't just about the individual moments, rather, it is about the unexpected connections that we discover throughout our lives. It's what we crave when we think of those that we've lost. The chance to share one more love, hold their hand for just one more second, or even hear their voice one last time. If you could spend just a little more time with someone you loved, wouldn't you give your everything for it? This just goes on to show that we must truly experience every moment by truly living in it. But here's the issue. Living in the moment isn't easy at all. In a world full of distractions, being present requires effort. So, how do we do it? How can we make every moment count? One way is through mindfulness. The art of paying attention to the present. Here are two simple practices that I like to use. The first one is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. Wherever you are, pause. Immerse yourself in your surroundings. Think of 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can smell, 2 things you can hear, and 1 thing you can taste. The second method is the 1-minute pause. Every day, dedicate just 60 seconds to your breathing. Inhale deeply, hold briefly, and exhale slowly. These practices may seem rather simple, but their impact is just profound. By bringing our attention to the present, we stop time from slipping through our fingers and start taking control of it. When we center our lives around experience, we shift our perspective of time from something finite to something infinite in its possibilities. Remember, it's not about how much time you have, rather it's about how well you use it. So, how will you use your time? Think of every day as a blank canvas, and every moment a chance to paint your masterpiece. Stop watching the clock, stop counting the hours. Instead, let every moment become that masterpiece. Remember, life isn't measured by the number of breaths you take, rather by every single moment that takes your breath away. So spend time with your loved ones, let go of the petty arguments, and make every moment count, because that is how living in the moment is done. So I hope our shared moments today have resonated deeply within you all. And yes, I do recognize the irony about talking about time while taking up yours. But if I've inspired you to pause, even for just a minute, and reflect on how you spend each second of your day, then this journey has served its purpose. Thank you.